experience of disability as a young girl, looking back, is that it robbed me of a childhood. It robbed me of things that people take for granted, such as childhood memories of friendships and adventures and everything. For me, that was never part of my growing up. My best friend has always been my books and television. When people tell me your dictum is quite good, I always say I'll credit it to the books, and that is because not only because I was quite keen on reading or anything like that, but that's the only way I accessed the world, is through books. That those who are my doors and windows into the world. And so, like I said, it's not a childhood that you look back to with a lot of fond memories, but there's a lot of grief, there's a lot of loss, and there's a lot of pain for everyone involved, not only for myself, but also for my family. But like I said, wherever I am today, whatever I am today, I credit it to my family. And that's why I would always say the one key factor to a thriving person with disability is a great support system.
In this industry, it's mainly male dominated, simply because it's not an easy industry. It's not easy, it's challenging. So when I joined, I'm clocking 9 years now. Okay. When I joined as an associate board consultant, I was actually the only female financial advisor. We had a few women in the lower positions, so the business development managers, the ones that just pick up the phone, call a prospect, book a meeting, but not the ones that are actually giving financial advice. Okay. So I was the only female financial advisor at that time. And for me, that was the challenge to me. Yes. And I asked why. It was because it's not an easy industry, because as a woman, there's a lot of things that happen, you go on Mother's Day, there's a funeral, you take a break from work. So you can't succeed in this industry if you have that kind of mindset.
Fit wouldn't be Finest Fit without my team. Of course, greatness is never achieved without a team. So that's why I decided to build a team that we should share one goal. We should all have one heart. So I even tell them each and every day, if one of you wakes up in a negative way or has a bad mood, stay at home. When we are working, we should all have one heart. So my team has been very brilliant. It's a team that I'm proud of. We even go as far as Chingola, Kitwe, Mazabuka. I'm not around, but they are able to deliver and represent my name very well. So these guys are just not guys or men, they are my family. Brilliant. 2 are my siblings and 3 are my nephews.
And that I am today, my needs, I may not still be able to walk, but she really doesn't understand my world. She has to allow me to have my own agency. And this is what we're saying. We need to allow persons with disabilities to have their own agency, because we've always infantilized them, because we've excluded them, we've marginalized them, and we use them as tokenistics, tokens that we have to parade to people to show that we are doing good. And that is how we end up doing the wrong thing every single time. But if we allow ourselves opportunity, if we allow ourselves to have conversations, honest conversations like we are having tonight, then we can start having progress. Thank you.
I used to do woodwork, and I must be honest, I used to fail at first. I would even get a 0. But with time, after reading some books for woodwork, I saw females in a workshop, and that inspired me. I said, if these whites...
After getting 0?
Yes. So I said, if these whites can do it, what can stop me, a black woman, doing it as well? So I said, I'm taking woodwork. After school, what am I going to become? And I said, let me try carpentry. So I looked around my community. I come from Chawama. So I looked around and looked for a skills training center. I went to inquire, and they told me there is carpentry, which would run for 6 months. So I went to tell my father about it. And I was afraid. I thought he would say no. But I thank God, he supported me. We went the following day, I enrolled, I was accepted, and I started. So I would knock off at school at 12 and go to do carpentry after that. So I studied not for 6 months, but for a year. I graduated, I wrote my grade 12 and wrote my carpentry at the same time.
But it's also just putting your foot down and saying, I've been through a lot. I'm not going to allow another person to abuse me any further. And I'm still whole, even if I'm not married. So support is important. To ask me how I've been here, it's a challenging environment. I've had to change so many things about myself. I've had to invest in myself. To look professional.
I like that.
Because
investing in yourself.
Exactly. Invest in myself. Invest in my mind as well. Things that I watch, things that I feed my mind. I don't watch horror movies. I'm not judging people who do. But I don't watch things that will make me sad. I watch comedies. I read good books. I associate myself with positive people. I invest every month, I invest in something that is going to, for my image as well.
Okay.
And so that when I'm going to a restaurant to meet a male client, he's not going to think I'm there to get a date. He needs to respect me. We're on the same level.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I've had to make a lot of changes in that area.
Unfortunately, like you have said, these are very difficult conversations to have. It's a difficult conversation for me to go back in time and try to establish what happened and how did that impact my mother. But I do know that, like I mentioned, that there was a lot of hospitals involved. There was a lot of segregation, sometimes, for lack of a better term, isolation, in the sense that, in as much as we may not have talked about these things, but I do know that she had been isolated because of my situation, and chances are that many people had blamed her for me being the way I am, and had questioned what could have happened. Because from both my father's and my mother's family, I'm the only disabled person that I know of. So you can imagine the questions that came with me being the only disabled person. So in as much as the direct confrontations that may have come out of my being disabled directed to my mother, I wouldn't want to pretend I do know exactly how or what was said, but I do know that it had been a very lonely journey, because I don't remember any of her family members.
No, there's no one.
So
there were
just from
only
school?
Yes, just
and
from
woodwork?
Yes, school and woodwork, and the support of my father. So I lost my mother when I was 12 years old. We were first born in a family of 3. So after I lost my mom, I was in grade 8. I decided I'm the firstborn, so meaning my young ones, my siblings, I need to be a good example. I said I need to be useful in life. I need to do something that they will look up to and say, oh, our sister did this, we can do it better. So I grew up without a role model, but with the support of my father, I am what I am today.
It breaks you, and I think it has a lot to do with, the people around you. Looking back, like you have said now, I can say that I didn't bring shame to my family because it happened. And I
You couldn't do anything. That's the best you knew to do then.
Exactly.
You were looking for love, probably.
Exactly.
You wanted to belong. I don't know, I wasn't there, but
yeah.
I'm asking.
But going back, that is what I felt, because that is what I was meant to feel. Because there is an expectation of a girl child. There's an expectation for you to get married, for you to, you know, get married to a comfortable person. So when you fall pregnant, people don't look at why did she fall pregnant? Why did she go out there? What did we not give her as the adults that are in her life?
So
then it meant I wasn't going to go into class. But after a few months, that's when I was moved to another class that was reasonably accessible. But by then, by the time all these changes were being made and being done, I think I was already demoralized. I didn't feel part of the environment. I didn't feel part of the school. Nobody took any interest in me, whether I went to school or not. And that was for both schools, both where I was staying and where I was learning. My grades went down at home. Of course, people at home realized that my performance had gone down, but everyone just credited it to different environment, different school. Probably I was just having trouble acclimatizing and everything. But yes, that was part of the experience. Then from that school, that's how I was transferred to Dagama School on the Copperbelt, which now was a school specifically for kids with physical disabilities, and that was the best.
If I'm within Lusaka, I leave home early. Then when I get home in the evenings, I try by all means to either put my phone on silent or turn it off. A lot of people used to shout at me and say, a businesswoman should never turn off phone. You should answer your phone even at 21, 22. But I say, I also have a family. I can't just live for money, of course. My kids need my attention. My husband needs my attention. So when I'm home, I'm home. When I'm out, yes, I can pick up business calls. I can answer anybody. But so people just need to respect entrepreneurs as well. In as much as we want your support, if it's off work hours, of course, if it's a holiday, let us rest.
Yeah, because that's being professional.
Yes, so
up close.
Yes, so some people don't understand that.
I'm not privileged at all. You know, when I don't know how well you know Zambia. When you hear that's amazing. Mm-hmm. So when you hear my name, it's actually a very powerful name. So people think I was born with a silver spoon because my grandfather was a former speaker, the longest serving speaker of the National Assembly. Wow. So if you just see me suited today, you would actually think I just got this job by mere mention of my grandfather's name. But that wasn't the case. You know, I was born from a poor woman who didn't have her own money, from a little village in Chongwe. They didn't get married with my father, and as a result, because my grandfather was a powerful man, and a traditional man as well, his wife, my grandmother, lived in the village while he was here in town, you know, serving the country. And they would want to get my grandmother, they would send a driver to get her if there's need for her to be present at any meeting. So when I was born, I was taken away from my mother at 9 months, still being breastfed, because my mother was in the village, couldn't look after me, and taken to another village where my grandmother was.
For me, I got it from Mom. Mom was hardworking. She had so many businesses before she died.
She passed.
Yes, so I got that spirit from her. She never gave up, even at her difficult times. You would see her cry, but you won't see her weakness, but she would be hurting inside. So that's the spirit that I got. No matter how tough life is, just stand up and do something that will make a difference. Don't always be a crybaby. So it just came in naturally. I didn't want to be a beggar, like going to house. Oh, I don't have a mother, please help me, we are orphans. I didn't want that. So it was just in me.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of our Lessons Learned, Life and Leadership Lessons Learned. For my leading ladies, my name is Orisha Joami, and Kasongo say I cut my hair, so before you say it, I say it. So don't start. I've done it.
Why do you like
I've
doing
done it,
this to me?
So
I like your haircut, by the way.
I knew you were going to say something. So before you say it,
You put it out there.
I put it out there. So behave. Good evening again. Thank you for the people I work for in the studio, Kasongo. And today we have a wonderful, excellent woman. Somebody we should have profiled. Maybe she'll come in season 2. But really amazing woman that has evolved and has re-engineered her life. And she keeps re-engineering. Wonderful wife, wonderful mother, wonderful daughter. And today we have Vunewe Mwanza with us. She is a pastor, she is a lecturer, she is an administrator, she is a lot of things. How are you, Vunewe? Welcome.
Fine, how are you?
And by the way, she does Sunday. I see you on Sunday on television.
Yes,
You're a celebrity. Good evening. How are you doing?
I'm well, thank you so
How's the
much.
Mwanza family?
We are well, thank you.
How's your beautiful, wonderful husband?
He's fine, he's here with me.
He's here with you?
Yes.
Protecting you,
Yes.
making sure nobody comes to
My
steal.
strong support system.
Hallelujah. Oh, you've been watching. I see that. How has it been you watching Scars to Stars? What has it been for you?
It has been.
By the way, Vunewe is a lecturer at Apex University.
Yes.
And who is Apex University? Are they from where?
Apex University is one of the leading private university that is offering medical courses. So we have got about 6 campuses. The main campus is in Chalala, around Kasama Road. So on the same road, we have a T campus that is offering a pharmacy. So in Chalala campus, there's nursing and there's pre-med courses which have been offered there.
Okay.
So T campus, we have pharmacy. And in Mutandwa campus, that is in Roma, they're offering medicine for medical students. And in Chainama Road, in Olympia, that's where there's radiography, and we also have a pharmacy at Demo along Chainama Road.
Okay.
Then we also have Foxdale campus, where there's physiotherapy, public health, and environmental health. So that's
Okay.
where I am based, at Foxdale campus. And then there's also at Richmond College, where they're offering master's programs. So those are the campuses that Apex has.
Did you see how I gave them free advert? Just like that, free advert. Absolutely, I'm super. So tell us, where did you start from? I'm not even going to talk to Kasongo today.
He's doing it to you today.
So, where did you start from? Tell us, before we go into lessons learned today. Okay, tell us. Okay. Tell us, who are we talking about today?
Today we're talking about Georgina Mumba. We'll also look at a very phenomenal woman, Maureen Naboliato, and another phenomenal woman who has just paved the way and done very awesome things. And before I even get into that particular space, I don't know, this is something that I noticed from all the women that we actually profiling today, is that they all read a lot. So before we get into that, the last person we're profiling is Sarah Bupe, who is also a phenomenal woman, really paving the way in the carpentry industry, which is very different and very unique, because a lot of there are very few women, if not 1 to 10.
Kasongo, please explain your hair. What is this? What's this? Please tell us.
It's an African crown.
Where in Africa did you see this?
This is Africa. I mean, this is.
Yo,
Let me explain it.
Musonda, please help her.
Let me explain it. I'm embracing my African side.
What's this? Limpopo, Zambezi.
Okay, let's go.
Are you serious?
Let's go. I'll show you a picture.
So
of my
nowadays,
son.
you guys just come do this and you say it's fashion. Just millennium.
I'll show you a picture of somebody who did it and where I got it from. So it's happening. It's a trending thing.
You actually did this.
Yes. I didn't wake up on the wrong side of the bed.
Wow.
It's a hairstyle.
Okay, I wish you luck. You and your family sprinkle holy water on you now.
You are my family. Let's get into today's women. Let's get in. I think Pastor today, you're making Mama Senda laugh and he's behind the camera. I wonder what people are thinking at home.
It's your hair making him laugh, not me.
Okay.
Pastor Vuniwe, Mrs. Mwanza, please tell us about you. You started as a physiotherapist. You studied diploma. You've gone back to school to have a degree, master's. Tell us, why did you go back? Since we're talking about people that read and overread,
Okay.
why are you reading yourself?
I've done it. I did a diploma in therapy. That was at Even Horn. I think way back, I couldn't think 1999 and to 2000 when I started work. So, and then with each profession it evolves. So at that time, I think that the one thing was there was diploma in physiotherapy. So there came now a change that everyone has to upgrade to do a BSc. So I think at first I was okay, comfortable with what was going on. But you come to a stage where life is, there's more that I can do, what can be done about my life.
So life can challenge you.
Challenge you, yes. So I think I came to be under the leadership of God Ministry or House of Grace here.
Okay, just leave that alone. Focus on Vuniwe Mwanza.
Yes, so because of the teachings that I got, that came to say,
Okay, I shouldn't have even asked you today.
I need to move on. There's something better that I can do with my life than what I have.
Okay.
Because there's certain things which are like, well, what I was getting as my salary was like somebody's weekend allowance. So like you are thinking, they're able to spend it only on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and me, I'm spending all this amount in
1 month.
In 1 month.
So you had more months than you had money.
Yes. So I said, okay, there's something I can do. So one of the colleagues that I was working with, she was applying to Ridgeway. She said, I also need to get some forms. So that's how I kind of like applied and paid. I think it was 150, and I kind of forgot. Then she came and told me, no, they have accepted people at Ridgeway. So I said, please check my name. So she sent somebody to go and check. Her name was not there, and said, well, even Vuniwe's name is not there. So I said, oh, okay, it's fine. Good luck. Next time I'll apply again. So just before 2 weeks of opening, somebody called, said, but what are you doing? Your friends have already started, your name is there. I said, my name is there. So actually, I think lent on a Thursday, and that Monday school is about to open.
Wow.
So I just kind of, okay, let me go there. So I thought people have been reporting and my name is even there. I said, but how did they miss my name? Because Vuniwe is not like an everyday name that you usually get. That okay, anyway, so I started. So I went back to my former workplace and told them that I've been studying for school. So can I just working certain days, and once I'm free at school, I can be coming back. So they agreed. So like then I started school, then stopped in between. Something did not go right. I think I was so much in school than I was at work.
Okay.
So I had now to not be on a full-time salary, and just my husband working, and it was one of the good years. For the third year, I paid for myself. Fourth year was quite a challenge.
So the first 2 years, who paid for you?
The first year from the savings, I managed to pay, but the fourth year.
So you paid for yourself throughout?
Yes, I paid for myself.
Okay,
but
because you said only the third year, so I'm wondering who paid first and second year?
No, because I joined in third year.
Okay.
Because
Oh, you joined it, you had exemptions. Okay.
Yes, because of my diploma.
Okay, I see.
Yes, so I ended in at third year.
Okay.
So on that, the first year I was able to pay for myself. So fourth year, which is my second year in school, was really a challenge to be in school because there was no income coming in. I was able to do private jobs here, even had to sell salaula, I even had to do a lot of things, but things were not like really adding
So
up.
women are resourceful.
Yes. So, but eventually I even ended up writing my exams without paying not a single way, and it was surprising when they were giving out transcript. For the exam slip, I even walked out of class because I knew that I had not paid, and then my name was kind of like called.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So I said, is it me? Maybe because those one of my classmates was Vines. So people used to
Mistake your name.
Yeah, and yes, because of the V. So maybe it is hers and she's not here. Let me try to get, I think, I don't know if it was there. Let me try to get for her. So I saw it was my name. So I said, okay. My only thing we just meant just to go on my knees because I didn't know how possible it was. So eventually I sat down and I wrote my exams. And then after just doing the exams, a project came through and then somebody managed to pay for me.
So you have been, since that time, you've been in school, you're working, you're a student, you're a mother, you're a wife.
Yes.
How challenging is that for a woman?
It is very challenging because I had to, my youngest daughter, I think was only a few months. I think it was maybe not even a year. So I had to make her go and stay with my aunt at one time, and then she fell sick. Then I had to get her back home and had like to stay with her. So it was really challenging, and she was in and out of hospital, and it was school, hospital, and without anything else. So it was really challenging. And now she's all grown up, which
Congratulations.
we thank God. So, but if God is with you and you really have put in, you have prayed about it, has given you a direction, He makes a way where there seems to be no way. So things kind of like work out, and your faith, you're able to kind of like challenge your faith and your hope to say there's something bigger, and God, He's the Father of everything and is able to provide for you. So once you have that hope, and the people that are around you, encouraging you, cheering you on, even if it looks so hard, you know where you are able to put your cries up and where the whole thing is coming out.
So did you get all that from Vuniwe Mwanza?
Yes.
She says you have to have faith. She says you have to be resourceful. She says you have to have a support system. What else she say?
And everything else will work together.
No, before that. Okay, let's go to your three women. Vuniwe, thank you. Let's go into three women.
I was going to say first is no profiling you.
No, I'm not. I knew you were going to accuse me of doing that, so I'm not doing that.
Okay, so going back to the women that we are taking lessons from today, I want us to start it off with Georgina Mumba.
Okay.
Her story is really inspiring for me, considering that she was not disabled when she was born. She went treatment for polio. I think you'd know best. And she had, I don't know what transpired really. I don't know what the science behind it, but she ended up on a wheelchair. And that was really sad because nobody else in her family had that disability.
She had polio from 2 years old.
Yeah, so polio it's an infection which anyone else can get. But at that time, I think there was so much like prevalent. But now we get the vaccination for polio. That's why the cases in Zambia are so low. But at that time, they were so much high.
Yeah.
So there's that prevention.
So it was like corona.
It was like corona yesterday, the way it is now. But once you get this vaccine, I think they said they're also going to go, go down. Yes.
So that's how she started. So at 2 years old, she had polio. She was stuck on a wheelchair. She was a very smart child from childhood. She could do certain things that other people couldn't do, but she faced a lot of challenges in accessing education because her mom literally had to carry her to school.
She's a superwoman.
Literally put her on her back and take her to school, and every day take her, bring her back. And something that that I saw that she really appreciated was the support system that she got. And she said her mom used to pick her up all the time and take her, but there were times when her mom couldn't, and her friends were there to actually pick her and take her back to school. And that's the power of community and friendship, and that for me was just awesome.
Yeah, I think Vuniwe, go ahead. You wanted to say?
For me, like, I was trying to look at her story that she was this brilliant woman, and then despite her challenges, she still overcame them because of what she knew. Because, as she said, being a woman and having a disability,
It's like a double challenge.
Double challenged. And then looking at the school where she went in Choma, and those people, it was just like thought because she has a disability, everything in her mind, disability, but it was a physical disability, not an intellectual disability. But she even moved to the other new school. They still did not consider her, but she still persevered through that. And she says she found a community, her own village, when she went to Dagama. And that's why she kind of like soared so much. So, but the thing of which comes out for me is that she really based her life reading. Like that's why she would like interact with the whole world through the books. And I think I remember if you're looking at the time, there was not so much of social media that she could interact with other people, but
No, there was no social
media at that
and
time.
even if there was social media, she couldn't afford it at that
Yes. Yeah. But so books, so reading, we cannot do without reading. If you want to move on and challenge yourself, only by doing books can you get higher or even reach your utmost if you're able to read. So reading, you cannot like say, even the social media, find time to sit down and read. And that's how you open up your mind and your world.
And
So
that's something
you have
you
a
also
lecturer on
see.
studio today.
Yes.
She's lecturing today. She's talking to a class. Okay. I think what I liked about Georgina, it was part of her opening, and she was telling us that. See, I'm talking to the camera. She was telling us that as a people, we should not. It's bad enough that people are living with disability, and they already know they have disability. We shouldn't add to their disability by treating them as people that are disabled and are invalid and can't do anything. Because somebody has a physical disability doesn't mean they have a mental disability, an emotional, psychological disability, and they are equally Zambian like everybody else. So that we need to start to recognize that everyone with disability is first a human being, and we shouldn't treat them as invalids, and we should know that they have purpose, they have everything we have, and if we support them, they can be the best and contribute so much to our nation. So that I really liked from Georgina, and she's gone on to help so many people with disability and be an advocate for people that live with disability. Her challenges were immense. Every time she went to a school, there was not a school that was fitted to her, so she was on the floor, she was all that, telling you we haven't planned enough for our children with living with disability.
And another thing that she said for me that was just profound, she said giving people with disability opportunity is not charity.
Yes.
We'd like to look at it that way, like, oh, if
and you saw that with Lizzie as well.
Yes, if we give somebody with a disability a job opportunity, we feel like we're giving them charity. It's not that. She says they deserve it just like everybody else. You shouldn't lower the bar for them or try to make it look like you are being nice or being charitable when you give them opportunities. They are just as equal as everybody. And it's just so sad. She said it was hard for her to find a school which could accommodate her. And to a point at which when she graduated from Dagama and she was the highest, she could go to a very Mpalemba school, and that's a school that she would deserve to go. But when they found out that she was disabled,
they were so happy to take her because she was the best. But just seeing her alone, they rejected her. That was so sad.
And that's a sad reality of what society we are living in today. And she says when she went to Unza, it was even hard. She says that was the hardest 4 years of her life, because first of all, her school was on the 4th floor.
Her hostel
was on the 4th.
It was bad enough that the person that was allocating the rooms saw her disabled and still gave her a room on the top floor. And that friend, if not for a friend, she would not, because they even brought her to the lower floor. Somebody agreed, but that person that is saying, look, you either take the room
or don't take it at all,
or go tough. Not even don't take it at all, leave. That was terrible.
And she says that till this day, Unza still doesn't have facilities, or certain places are not accessible by people with disability. And she says, she gives examples to say a lot of people have gone through Unza, ministers, but they still don't consider that, and that's something she's fighting for to this day. So I really hope that if you're watching and you're in that place of power, please consider people with disabilities. They do deserve every opportunity, just like every person who's body abled.
And they have the same rights as every person has.
Absolutely.
So, and then for me, like, which also gives up that she went with crutches. And crutches makes you to be mobile, but at Unza, they had to move from crutches to be on the wheelchair.
On the wheelchair.
And that's kind of sad. How do you move on the stairs with a wheelchair?
She couldn't climb.
She couldn't climb, so she had to leave the wheelchair. People have to carry her up. And you know how Unza is, like the steps, like they're steep. So now, how did then to say that she was in a danger to herself and also people who are carrying her to go up? I think she showed the ability to be there. She did not get on a disability scholarship. She worked hard and she had the right marks. So if the people who were there would have also maybe considered her class to be downstairs to accommodate her. So she had to miss a lot of tutorials, she had to miss a lot of lectures, because she was depending on her roommate, and if there is a conflicting of classes, she could not go there. But I think we should be human first before anything else.
I think those humans were the ones that helped her, and I thank God for all her friends and all her support. But more importantly, from then till now, the school should be paid, particularly if it's the formal school, tertiary school in Zambia. We should start paying attention. Even new schools coming should pay attention to their architecture. That it facilitates and it helps, and it's very friendly to people with disability.
True.
I don't think we do that. Georgina told us, not Georgina now, Lizzie told us the same thing, going through Unza and being laughed at, I think she said, by a lecturer that felt, what are you doing here? You're not going to make it. You know, so imagine that coming from two people who are even the first woman having a master's, disabled woman getting a master's from UNZA, and she was mocked from her story. And this also another very privileged student that couldn't, if she didn't have the determination and that grit, she would never be who she is today, because that environment didn't support her dream at all.
So there was that resilience in them, both
Absolutely,
of the women,
absolutely.
and there was that persistence for them to kind of like forge ahead. So in life you might have all these barriers, but as long as you know where your target is and your goal, you still pull through despite it. That you come out as a star, as all of them have come out as stars, despite with all the scars.
In fact, if you call these stars, they should be superstars.
Yes.
Because they had two disabilities.
Yes.
Number one, they're physically disabled. Number two, they're women. Because most times society treats women as if they are disabilities too. And they had two things to fight. So they should be
superstars.
You see? I'm in the spirit.
Yeah, I see.
Okay.
So we're going to move on to Sarah Bupe, another phenomenal woman who's just paving the way in the
and the youngest
industry.
of all the people you
I was so excited seeing her. Before she even spoke, I saw her in the car and I was like, she's the one? And then she comes out wearing her work suit and she's all relaxed and she's speaking in her area and she was telling people, move this. I was like, I literally stood there. I was like, okay. So that for me was just awesome. And the way she takes her carpentry, most people will be ashamed of doing things like that because of how society has put it. But she was so happy. She was confident. She got there and she spoke and she said, I don't even want to be called a designer or whatever. I'm a carpenter. And she says, I love this career because Jesus did it. And she comes out there and she's happy. And for me, that was just like, wow. You look at things and you're like, she can be a carpenter. I can also be a carpenter. It's okay. And she was confident and you could see the passion even in how she works. And her designs were just phenomenal. The work that they do was awesome.
I think she's doing so well. I think it's good to know she showed that knowing what you want and going for it. She could have been anything else. But the day she discovered her love for carpentry, other people going into grade 12 are saying they want to go. She just knew from there, I'm going to be a carpenter. And I think a lot of women would learn from that, should learn from that. A lot of young girls should learn from that. Also, a lot of us young people. If you went abroad, you will find that a lot of people don't have to go to university, blah, 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 because they want to get a job. Immediately they know who they want to be. They specialize. They go there. And you make more money from using your hands than wearing a tie, going to an office and sitting down 9 to 5 or 8 to 5. Sarah Bupe knows who she is.
And the amazing thing, which I also liked about that, she did a carpentry when she was in grade 12. Many people give excuses that I can't do a skill and I can't be studying for my grade 12. But she completed everything at the same time. So she would knock off at 12, go to do a carpentry, and study for both because each one of them had exams. But now most people would give excuses that I can't study two things. So a woman is able to multitask. Even as being a girl before she matures into a woman. So if she is able to do it, then even as we're able to do it.
By the way, why do people keep... You mean men don't multitask?
They do, but I mean like in her case. I'm looking at her.
In her case. Thank you.
So I'm saying that if she was able to do it, anyone else can do two things at the same time.
We're not saying men don't multitask. We're just saying when they do it, they say men at work.
You see?
And you taught us that. You taught us that.
You have to bring me into that. I was trying to speak for the men.
So men do multitask, but women just do it better.
I give up.
So that to me is kind of like, because like by the time people in grade 12, you're looking to go and become an accountant, a lawyer, all these. But she said because despite me not having good grades in woodwork, she still went on to get as a career. And now look at the amazing thing that she's doing. And she's thinking of even like being the source of the thing that she used to make her cabinets for. So it is amazing, and she wants to learn more. She has not like ended up, she's seeing all this fear of her life that is going to broaden up and which is so amazing. So she hasn't reached yet her target or her level. She's still moving forward.
Because she's still very young.
Yes.
She's still so young. I like the part of her life where she had to learn. She had to go to Buseko. She had to be there getting nothing. But she says, how can you be a carpenter?
And she also emphasized that these people didn't go to school like her.
Of course. She had to learn experience. She says, you become a carpenter, that's the educational system and all, where you don't have tools. So she had to go and learn from them how to do the work and how to use their tools. And through that, she grew without being paid. I thought that's a person that knows why they wake up in the morning.
True.
And that's why she's been successful. And she says her carpentry has brought her to great people. She's met the First Lady. She's done work for brilliant people, big people. And her profile is just rising. And she won the Push Award, the Push Women Network Award for excellence in carpentry in that area. And that's just brilliant at her early age.
So the sky is not even the limit for her.
Oh, there's no limit. The only limit now is, like she said, we need exposure.
Yes.
We need, if we can get support for people to send us out so that our vision, so the only limit to her is what she sees, her environment. And she says we need to get out to see more so we can be more and do more.
Yeah. Another thing that she spoke about was the fact that she didn't grow up with her mother. And she literally lost her mom when she was very young, so she had to live with her father, and her father was her strongest support system. And just seeing that passion from her father's side, being able to accept and say, it's fine, you can go do your carpentry, do your school, and he just encouraged her through it. And that's what support is.
What of where she even comes to the place where she's a role model to her brothers?
Yes, and they
because through her, she's brought them into business. Now she's employing them, and she's team. And she says, look, I wanted to be sure that there was no gap. Women carry responsibility from such an early age. She said, I wanted to be sure there was no gap that my mom passed. I wanted to fill that space. And from an early age, she started supporting her family, supporting her dad, supporting her family, and becoming now an employer of labor with her family supporting. I think that is really phenomenal. She didn't go playing about, she didn't go getting pregnant. In fact, I think it's her first boyfriend that she married.
Yes.
I'm not sure, but I think it was her first boyfriend. She met the person in school.
Yes.
And the boy says, God told me you are my wife.
That you are the one.
That's powerful.
And their love story was so beautiful because she said he'd prophesied.
Was or is? Why do you keep saying was?
Is very beautiful. She actually said that the man would prophesy to her and say, oh, I saw this and it would
Absolutely.
happen. And she spoke very highly of her family as well. So that was a very beautiful thing.
And she loves family. She works with family. Her husband is part of her business. They support themselves.
And he's a mechanic.
Yeah.
Which is also great because they both work with their hands. So that's just phenomenal.
Call him mechanic engineer. Don't just be calling mechanic like that. He's a super guy.
And for me, one thing that she said as being an entrepreneur, that she has time for her family.
Yeah.
She has time for her husband. So when she knocks all this stuff off, so she's able to balance up
she
her work life.
prioritizes.
So, and to me that was really amazing, because sometimes as a woman you can be able to lose it, because you think when you go home you are still the CEO of your company, but when you get there you are a mother, you are a wife, you are a friend to the community and everyone else. You just take off your office clothes and become as you are in need in that family.
Yeah.
So that was amazing, really.
That's beautiful. From an early age.
Yes.
I think most of the people we heard from are people that are much older, but this one is very early age. She's just 29?
29. She's 29.
You know, and for her to have achieved so much and done so well in so short a time is just brilliant.
Yeah.
Really brilliant.
And on that note, we're going to go to Maureen. Maureen's story is also very beautiful. I think
very painful.
Very painful.
I thought it was very painful,
the beginning
but she has made it so beautiful.
Yeah. Hearing her tell her story, being separated from her mom at 9 months old, not knowing who your mom actually is. Like, she never spent time with her mom, and being abused by people that she could look up to, yet she still thrived through that. She came to the city.
Did she say she lost her mom, or that was me?
I don't
No,
remember her
no,
saying
she didn't say she lost her
mom.
mom. No,
But she was
she was separated from the mom because she met the mom long
When she was
after that.
19.
Yes, she started. Yes,
So her story was painful, but seeing how she grew from that and has built herself to where she is today, and her business partners, and she speaks about reading a lot, and that's something I've seen from all three women that we're profiling today. They say they all read a lot. They find their power and their strength in reading, and that's just phenomenal for me, because knowing somebody who has gone through so much pain and being at the level at which she is and thriving, that's just amazing.
she came from grass. She came from a well-known family. Her grandfather was the longest serving Speaker of the House of Reps, Parliament. But based on her parentage, she didn't have those privileges, and she lost her dad early. So she grew up basically, and don't forget, she was abused when she was a child.
Yeah.
She was abused when she was a child, and to fend for herself, she had to work hard to become that thing. But you could see her discipline, how she saved money. She says, all my grandfather used to send to me, I saved it, I didn't spend it, and that is what I used to pay my first rent. That is how I pushed myself. She sponsored herself to go to Cavendish. So you find that from grass to grace. And one thing you see about her is personal development.
Yes.
Everything about her was personal development. You could see the books she reads, you could see the things she listens to were oozing out of her, the way she has built herself.
Yeah, and one thing she brought in was saying a self-investment. She really dropped, she invested into herself to take herself to school, and even to read, as Kasongo said, and as you have said. So because of that, I think if you value yourself, you're going to put into yourself, regardless of where you're coming from. And she's able to come, from, as you have said, from grace to come to where she is now. She had to put in, and she's still investing.
She's still investing.
She's still investing. She has not stopped. And
She's the first female manager, as in running the office of Devray. Biggest financial not consulting now, what was that they described it, but she represents them here, and for her to be the first tells you how good, because that's not some small company, how good she is and how good she has built herself to become who she is.
Yes. So for me, that was kind of like so much phenomenal, that despite what she has gone through, that did not deter her to be where she is.
Oh no.
So you can go through certain things in your life, but that should not be like your final stop. You can still push yourself to the ultimate and become at the top as she was. So this is a good lesson. There was abuse, but she didn't look at that, and like
she never stopped.
Cry. No, she never stopped. And even began to seek a pity party from people. She just said, I have to come out of this. And with the support and with the discipline that she had, she is where she is now. And we kind of like, we still celebrate her. We are celebrating her nearly every day.
The way she started, amazing. Going to the bus stop and reading papers to look for jobs. And they knew her so well that the paper guy gave her to read for free. And that's how she learned and got jobs. And coming into Devray and climbing from the bottom. Now she's at the top of that. That is phenomenal.
Also having gone through a divorce after all that she had gone through from the past, and how she describes it, she says she found comfort in this person. He was like a happy place, and then he also put her through so much pain. And to the point at which she had to leave. So she hasn't had it
and she had courage to leave.
She had courage to live. Really, she hasn't had it the easiest of ways, despite her being born from a family which is renowned. And she says people think,
but you see, you keep saying that her name is renowned, but she didn't come from renown. Her name is renowned through her grandfather, but she was raised by her grandmother in the village, and she never had any privilege. She never did have privilege. And her grandmother passed on after a time. So there was no privilege that she would say she enjoyed. Maybe what you would say she got was her grandfather kept sending her at a time in her life when she was old enough. And she saved all of that. So she worked hard for everything. Because when you say privilege, it's as if she came from privilege. No, she had a name, her grandfather's name, but none of that was privilege in her raising up.
And she says people do perceive, because of her name, they perceived it that way, but she didn't get any of that. Yeah. So her story was just really
The most beautiful thing I think about her is that because of what she's gone through, she's organizing women now. She says, I've looked about, and I've not seen women that are authentic, women that are not ashamed of their story. She says, I look at social media, I look at women, and what they are outside is different from what I know them to be. And she's organizing women now to be authentic, to embrace their story, to embrace their shame. And there's no shame. That's what she's saying. Live your life and make the life. So the name of that, Wine, Money,
Wine.
I love the name of that thing.
And she really did emphasize her love for
Absolutely
wine.
Brilliant.
Yeah. And I just love how she brings women together, and despite background, she says when these people come together in that particular setup, they support one another, they fund each other's businesses, and that's what we need as a community, being able to come together and put funds towards someone's business to grow them.
That's what they're doing. They're supporting themselves and giving themselves a space to be free and to grow together. You know, creating a space where people can be free and grow together, because most of places you stifle women's growth. So they are coming out and saying, no, this space, this is us. Love yourself, love life, live life, and be the best you can be. And they are doing a good job.
And as they're supporting their business, the money is circulating within themselves, so they're empowering each other even to go even higher than at the level that they are.
You see the lecturer, like that's her now. That's lecturing now. You see. Please continue.
Which is so amazing is that as women, not just women, as a community, as people, as we support each other, we are not like taking our resources outside. We are keeping it inside. And even if she was to fall down, there'll be another woman who's going to pick her up, because the money is within their circle and within their environment, which is so amazing. And they meet and they become real, because social media now, you can be able to put up a face, which is not reality, and you will be envying the other person, but when they are in their own closet, in their own space, it's a totally different story. But it says, please be who you are. Let's support each other. If I come and buy from Kasongo her hair, I come and do the way she does it.
You can't buy this hair. Please, they can't buy this hair. They buy Brazilian.
Don't listen to
They buy Brazilian hair. They buy Indian hair. They buy.
I can cut it for you and sell it to you.
Buy this.
Don't worry, don't listen to Pastor.
So the money is circulating within them, so they're empowering themselves. So next thing, if they're able to come together like in the way that she's coming up with the women, they can do so much great. Because out of them, there will be multiple factories. Out of them will be all these companies coming up, because they have come together as women. They're just becoming real. And this has come out from her scars. And now she's
it has come out from her scars, yes.
So because of her scars, she's not even afraid of covering them up. She's opening up the scars to say, see, but these now, I'm no longer, even if they're there, they are not anymore paining me, because they have healed and I'm able to come out. Because if you have a scar and you're still hiding and not talking about it, it will still hurt you, because it's still painful. But once you open up, then everyone else, even if they look at it, oh, you're talking at my scar. This thing is not even paining anymore. So it is so amazing. I really love that story so much.
One part of her life I loved was her hard work. She says you work with men, you have to earn their respect, so that when you sit down with them to talk business, they don't think about you in any other way. But you guys are really reading your notes. So you are doing education like they advised you.
And get to read
I can see their messages. So it's something I liked about Maureen. She talked about hard work. She talked about she has to work twice as hard to do her business, you know, and in getting into that space, you find that she says, look, when you come, normally they look at you as a woman, but you have to earn it and you can pay your own way. And she says that is how she works to gain the respect of people around her. And I think that should be something all young coming up leaders must think about. How do you earn the respect of your contemporaries, and not just like we have Chishala Kateka tell us, say, don't just do things because I'm a woman. You disrespect me that way. And this you see in Maureen's life, and I think that was beautiful.
And we have a message. This one is really heartfelt for me. This person says, good evening. I'm so inspired to hear the story of Aunt Georgina Mumba. I'm also disabled and I'm in grade 7. This one's from Victoria Peary. Thank you very much, Victoria, for watching and for sending this message.
And Victoria, watch out for Georgina. By the grace of God, very soon she's going to be having a program on CBC talking to disabled and people, not disabled, people with disability and differently abled. So she's going to be here. By the grace of God, we're hoping she will be here. We also know that Catherine Kasiketi, awesome woman. Have we talked about Catherine?
Yes.
We have. Yeah. So we're talking to Catherine as well. And how do we create programs for people with different abilities to encourage and keep inspiring you? So you have many women that are doing great things in spite of their challenges. And you're another champion that very soon we're going to be talking to. So keep growing, keep doing. Nothing stops you except your thinking. You remember Liz. Liz said, I never see myself disabled. At times it's people that remind me, because she never saw herself disabled. Yeah. So I think Victoria should take that.
Yes.
And just grow. And I'm happy Scars to Stars is doing what it was intended to do, inspire women to grow.
Yeah. And on that note, we have come to the end of today's segment.
Are you joking?
Yes, we have.
Already? How?
We have come to the end of today's program. It's 9.
Kasongo, where are you going?
I'm not going anywhere.
It's 9 already. When did we start?
We started at 8.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have come to the end of today's segment. Would have loved to continue going on and on and on, but we'll be back tomorrow and we'll be talking about 3 very phenomenal women. We're going to be talking and taking lessons from Namuchana, very phenomenal woman. We'll also talk about Florence Ngosa, who is also a regular, always watches, and we'll also talk to Sharon Musonda, very beautiful
Sharon
woman.
was super.
Yes. So
three of them were amazing.
Those are the 3 women that we'll be talking about tomorrow, and we hope that you could join us yet again and keep sending those messages. Keep watching on Facebook. Our Facebook page is God Ministries Global, so you can hit us up, send us a message, follow us, and let's keep interacting on that platform. You can also follow us on YouTube. We are on God Ministries TV. You can subscribe to our channel, hit the notification.
You can or you should.
You should.
It's a must.
You must. I like that. It's a must. You must subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's at God Ministries TV, and you also have to hit the notification bell so that you know whenever we are on, so that we can keep interacting. So thank you very much for watching today's segment. And
you see, you are rushing somewhere. You see, you are rushing. See how you are talking like no speed limit. You are rushing. They didn't hear you.
Okay.
You are rushing.
I should say that.
You have a date.
No, I don't.
So why are you rushing?
I don't have a date.
Say it slowly.
I'll say it very slowly. You can follow us and subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is at God Ministries TV. You can also hit the notification bell so that you know whenever we're on. You can also send comments to that particular page, and you can follow us on Facebook. We are at God Ministries Global. So follow us on those pages, and we'd love to interact.
So if they hit their phone, when they break the phone, you said hit the notification bell.
Oh my God.
When they break the phone.
No, they won't. They know what it means.
So don't hit.
Press the notification
Thank you.
bell. I'm going to go old school like Pastor J.
Thank you.
But if you know and you're a millennial, you hit the subscribe
If you know,
button.
you know.
You know, you know.
Okay.
And on that note, I hope I'm not rushing this as well.
You need to rush home for this hair. Rush home.
Good night, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for watching.